I had a dream about Martin this morning. Um, he looks so different, covered in tattoos, and I put my hand on his face and I said to him, "What have you done to yourself?" And he started crying and he said, "I'm so sorry." And I said to him, "Why did you do it? Like, you were supposed to be, this was supposed to be us stepping into this, you know, what I'm about to step into, what I'm stepping into with games and all. Like, this was supposed to be us. The Art of Creation Foundation was supposed to be, it was supposed to be our thing." And he didn't say anything, and then he was kissing me, and I couldn't let him touch me because I kept seeing all the women and Courtney and Rocio and how much he broke my little boy's heart, how much he broke my thing. He knew that Martin was going to make that call that devastated his sons. He knew, and everybody took Chris's side and said I was the crazy one for starting to speak up about it. I can never forgive Martin for that. There's nothing he can say or do that will ever allow him to be back into our lives because the damage is already done, especially with Rocio and Courtney knowing that Rocio targeted Thomas sexually, that they targeted my boy sexually, and he was in prison and being recorded and about to be released, and I knew if I didn't jump in and do something, they were going to listen to those calls and assume that Kevin was abusing my boy sexually on the phone, that will ever allow him to be back into our lives. And then Courtney, he knew she abused a kid. He knew that she tried to get him to talk to a man when she was 5 years old, naked in the bath on the phone. And I had to jump in and save the friend because it was Martin's friend she was trying to get the little girl to talk to. And he was in prison and being recorded and about to be released. And I knew if I didn't jump in and do something, they were going to listen to those calls and assume that Kevin was a pedophile. And they wouldn't let him out. And that man was screaming to be released. It was killing him being locked up in there. And he was my best friend. I loved him like a brother. We were tight. And Martin threw us both under the bus, eventually to go and sleep with the woman I protected his best friend from. Kevin absolutely had Martin's back. You know, they were in the gangs together. He absolutely had Martin's back, and Martin stabbed him in it and stabbed his wife in it to sleep with the woman who was trying to get her 5-year-old to talk to a man naked in the bath, who would lock her up, who beat her for crashing the car because she was texting us in a class while she was driving and wasn't paying attention. And when she crashed the car, she took it out on her little girl, Juliana. And we all bore witness to it. And my students took her side and Martin's side and Chris's side. They thought they were on the getting the better end of the deal. When it turns out I was calling them all out for their sins. And they didn't like it because I was expecting them to ascend and they weren't. They were descending and they thought they were rising, but now they're falling. They betrayed their own indigeny. They betrayed their own Allah. just to get back at me for expecting them to be better people, because I wasn't going to allow anyone who wasn't on the same level as me anywhere near the children that we're about to help. And they did all of this. They put me through all of this for all these years. 2018, I think, is when they all started plotting and planning. And, well, I think it might have been 2017 when Chris called me back from the radio station in Chicago. He told me at the airport that my students had been talking to him then, and they told him that I was tracking him, that I was putting tracking devices in his car, and that if they wanted to help him, they would help him get custody of the boys and get me kicked out the country. It is on my Instagram. I emailed it to myself, and it ended up being 100% true. I put the email evidence because that's when I was starting to find that I'd left notes to myself in the past for me to find in the future. And one of them was an email that I sent to myself in regards to Ria, and that's saying ex-students trying to make out like I'm promiscuous and a bad mother, and, you know, get me kicked out the country, blah, blah, blah. And it's exactly what happened. And I think it was dated 2018, and it's exactly what happened. Exactly. That's how long I've been dealing with this. And it escalated and got worse and worse and worse the more it wasn't happening for them. But it's never going to happen for them because the prophecy isn't about them. The prophecy has nothing to do with them, other than the fact they're the ones that the Bible predicted being thrown into the lakes of sulfur. So all of this is predicted in the Bible. You just have to read between the lines in the book of Revelations. Yeah. Even the Jews and Christians knew that this battle was coming. Because it's been passed down through migration, through the immigrants, through migrants, and every new country starts with a indigenous person. So the prophecy, it's just told in different ways. It's even loosely talked about in the Quran. So because there's a group of us that are here to do certain things to expose the darkness to the light so that we can evolve. I don't necessarily believe that there's going to be a second coming of Christ in the form of a human. Possibly. I mean, I believe that he existed before, but I don't necessarily believe that he existed the way that the Bible said he existed. So, yeah, but I know that the second coming, for me personally, feels more like the birth of the new world, the birth of like a conscious, expansive awakeness, where like, yeah, the light of salvation or the light of awakening is the second coming. So, because a lot of us are on the Christ path, and it's only a matter of time before we all connect and meet up and join, which is what the prophecy is. And it's supposed to start with the coming together of, you know, two indigenous nations from the north and the south. So Montana, Thunder Bay, you know, that's my north, that's where I'm headed. Montana, that's where we're going to live. That's where I'm going to have my foundation. And Thunder Bay in Canada is where I'm going to build the academy for the children that we rescue. So that's how long I've been fighting for my right to get there and rescue those babies, who at the time weren't even born yet. I should have been there a long time ago, but thanks to Martin. So anyway, in the dream, I said to him, "Are you going to give me my divorce?" And he said yes. And then I got up and I stood behind this wall thinking like I was just like, my heart was crushed, because that was the face of the man that I loved so much, that I did so much to be with. And and then Keanu Reeves came around the corner and started kissing me, and I'm like, okay. Martin who? And he was wearing like this really beautiful suit. And he said, "Come on, baby, let me take you out on a date." And then he took me to the beach. And we were sitting on the beach having like, like a coffee and stuff. And it was just amazing. Yeah, we watched the sun go down. It was just amazing. And it was like just everything went away. And I thought, well, whoever I end up with, I think he's definitely got dark hair. I know he's definitely got dark hair. I've never seen him with fair hair. It's always dark. But yeah, come on, baby. Okay. Because, oh my God, Keanu Reeves, me, ow.